Look at two human bodies. At first, they may seem surprisingly similar. Both have a brain, a heart, lungs, bones, muscles, and the same basic organs. But underneath these similarities, biology creates some important differences. So, what actually makes male and female bodies biologically different? And how does the body develop these differences in the first place? The story begins at the smallest level, our cells. Almost every cell in the human body contains chromosomes. Most people have 46 chromosomes, arranged in 23 pairs. One of those pairs is called the sex chromosomes. In many people, females have 2 X chromosomes, while males typically have 1 X and 1 Y. But chromosomes are only the beginning. During early development, genes on these chromosomes help guide how the body develops. One important gene is called SRY, usually found on the Y chromosome. When the typical SRY pathway is active, it can trigger development of testes. Those developing testes can then produce hormones that influence further development. Without that pathway, development generally follows a different biological route. So the difference isn't simply about appearance. It begins with genes, cells, and developmental signals. Hormones are chemical messengers that travel through the body. 2 hormones that are especially important in sex development are testosterone and estrogen. Both males and females produce both hormones. The difference is often in their typical levels and patterns. During puberty, these hormones help produce many of the physical changes associated with male and female development. Voice, body hair, muscle development, bone growth, and reproductive system development can all be influenced by hormones. One of the clearest biological differences is the reproductive system. Typically, male reproductive anatomy includes testes, which produce sperm and testosterone. Typically, female reproductive anatomy includes ovaries, which produce eggs and hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. The reproductive systems are different because they perform different biological roles in reproduction. But remember, these differences don't mean one body is better or stronger than the other. They simply reflect different biological functions. Hormones also influence muscles and bones. After puberty, males on average tend to develop greater total muscle mass and bone size. Females on average tend to have a higher proportion of body fat and different patterns of fat distribution. But averages are not rules. There is enormous variation between individuals. A person's body can fall anywhere across a wide biological range. That's why you can't determine someone's biology from a single physical feature. What about the brain? Research has found some average biological differences between male and female brains. But here's the important part. Human brains are highly complex, and the differences between individuals are often much larger than simple male versus female categories suggest. Behavior, personality, intelligence, and abilities cannot be reduced to one biological difference. The brain is shaped by a combination of biology, development, experience, and environment. Biological sex can also influence some aspects of health. For example, immune responses can differ on average between males and females. Hormones and genetics can influence how the immune system responds to infections and other biological challenges. Some diseases are also more common in one sex than the other. But again, these are population-level patterns, not rules that apply to every individual. So, how are male and female bodies biologically different? The answer isn't just one thing. It involves chromosomes, genes, hormones, reproductive systems, development, and many other biological processes. And perhaps the most important lesson is this. Human bodies share far more similarities than differences. Our biology is incredibly complex, and every individual is unique. That complexity is what makes the human body so fascinating.